Welcome once again to GeorgiaSportsTalk.com. I'm Jim Hart, your host, and we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. We've got a really good guest on today, Stephen Prather from CoachesByTheNumbers.com. That's a very unique website that takes all the NCAA coaches and breaks down their performances and their teams by about every statistical breakdown that you can possibly imagine. And we're going to have Stephen on today, and he's going to talk about Georgia Tech special teams. That's an area of Paul Johnson's team that people have been talking about. We're going to get the facts from Stephen today. Hey, Stephen, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Hey, Stephen, before we get started, go ahead and add a little more to what I mentioned about CoachesByTheNumbers.com, exactly what you all do and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, this whole thing started. I was in 2005. Had just gone back to business school. I was getting my MBA at Vanderbilt, and for one of our classes we had to do, we had to kind of put together a business plan and do a presentation on it. And it didn't have to be anything real that you were starting. It was just go through the exercise of it. I've always been a sports nut. I played baseball in college at Vanderbilt and just been a huge college football fan my entire life. And so the idea I had, and I think part of it was being in business school, which is very analytical, very statistic-based education, I said, hey, well, I'd love to do kind of a consulting firm, where you kind of, with helping ADs, helping schools hire coaches, but doing it, with a statistical background, really looking at the stats. So kind of bringing the whole Moneyball approach a little bit to hiring coaches. There's a lot of data out there. So put together a business plan, whatever, did it for the class. A couple of years go by, I'm got into commercial real estate and just kind of, the idea just kind of kept there. And my brother and a good friend of mine that played baseball with me at Vanderbilt, it's a computer guru. We kind of started talking about this more realistically and started kind of doing some research. And, we found that getting into the consulting part of it, there's a huge barrier to entry. But we did find from talking to ADs and other people in the industry that they thought there was a need for this statistical stuff we were talking about putting together. So, fast forward to about a year ago, we kind of started compiling the data. And, at this point, we've got well north of 2 million pieces of data. We've got information on going back. We went back to 2001. Partly because the information before that, statistically, we didn't find that we could get as good access to it, and we wanted to kind of keep what we thought was a modern snapshot of coaches. So we've got offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, head coaches. We do look at the FCS level head coaches as well. We've got 50 different rankings, and everything we do, we try to do from the standpoint of looking at it from the statistics. Because so many times you'll hear fans, kind of say, well, we think of this, or this guy's great, or this guy's not, and what we wanted to do was try to bring, take out so much of the gut and just start looking at it from statistics. So, we don't think statistics tell everything, but we think they tell a lot of it. And a lot of the analogy we kind of use is if you're ever going to buy a company, one of the very first things, you look at who's running it and the character they have and a lot of their stuff that's not necessarily measurable, but before you even do that, you're going to look at the numbers and say, hey, do the numbers look good? And then if they look good, look bad, you'll kind of go from there. So, we've got a site that we think's got a lot of really cool stuff. It's very user-friendly. And like I said, we hope that if you're looking for anything statistics-based about college football coaches, we've certainly got it.
Stephen, taking a look at Georgia Tech special teams, that's an area of Paul Johnson's program that has been under fire recently, and really over the entire 4 years of his program, there's been criticism of how they've performed. When you do your statistical breakdown of Paul Johnson's special teams, what do they tell you? To hear Stephen Prather's statistical analysis of Paul Johnson's special teams and the conclusions he draws from that data, visit our website at gtsportstalk.com and click on podcasts. Thanks for listening.